La Liga Lounge, it's for the boys. Dan and Houston on again. La Liga Lounge, round up the boys. Tell your wife and tell your friends. We play for keeps and every week we tell it like it is. La Liga Lounge, when all is said and done, we can all agree. FTC.
Welcome back, gentlemen. The La Liga Lounge coming at you once again. Me and Houston live as always. No guests today, so we got Josh behind the scenes here running the show. But Houston, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I was doing pretty bad, losing to Forrest, my childhood best friend. Ever since we were 5 years old. He was 6 since he was actually held back a lot. Fucking loser. But you know what? Santa's coming to town. He's town early. As you saw, the big trade we'll get to.
Yeah.
Ho, ho, ho. Santa's in town early, boys.
It's amazing how a trade boosted your spirits, Houston, right?
Boosted my
A couple
spirits.
days ago, he didn't even want to do the podcast this week, and now he's like fucking wearing no sleeves and ready to go.
Houston was going to drop every player on his roster. That's what he said.
Yeah, I did say that. I'm on record saying that.
But now you're charging, man. You had a big trade coming up. Should we just get right into the trade here?
Let's recap the week first.
Okay. I'll get it. Well, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. All right.
Yeah. Who is our lowest score of the week, Dan?
Lowest score, a bit of a surprise this week, Houston. We had Ruben with, I think it was 76. I'm not looking at it right now, but Ruben got shit stomped by Kevin? Josh, no.
Kevin.
I think it's Kevin.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So Ruben owes the chug. So yeah, we'll get that from Ruben. I don't know.
If I recall, Ruben
has
the lowest line score in league history of 26 or something.
Ruben can do the chug, so I'm drinking at B-dubs.
Okay. Good. So yeah, Ruben, send in your chug, buddy. Problems. Yeah. And then we have, that leads us to La Loteria as well. La Loteria.
La Liga Loteria.
La Liga Loteria. I get that R to roll. Sometimes I miss that R, man.
Loteria.
Anyways, bad showing last week, Houston. We did not have good results.
Nope. Nope.
Yeah, why don't you break that down?
Eric still owes me my money, and it gets tied up in the courts.
Yeah, Eric, get your money to Houston, man.
Such a dick.
That's gross.
That went over my head. That was good.
But Ruben, 10 Dolores, Venmo me it. We'll get the legs in sometime Thursday, Friday. We'll place the bet. We're going to hit one of these, split it to anyone who participates. Reminder, the week before, other than Forbes putting in the wrong bet, we were 6 of 7 minus Kevin's New York Jets money line to win like $10 to win. I want to say it was like $1,800, something like that.
Dude, I love this betting thing because it also creates like a game within the game to where like you can rag on people for sucking at betting and fantasy football at the same time.
I was thinking too, if like the person's bet, each person's leg should have to do with one of the players on their team. Be whatever it is with that player, but it's got to pick, right?
I've been doing that myself. I like it. I do it because I'm just like, well, you know the most about the players on your team.
Double down.
Yeah, you should be able to make those predictions better than maybe some lines.
I should just be picking the players for the fucking player team I'm playing against, but.
All right. Anyway, that's Loteria. Get your picks in, boys, and we'll run it back. This is the week. I'm feeling it.
So Kevin took down Rubes. Kevin is staying in the race. Forbes beat me. He's shit talking me. He doesn't only time he texts me is when he plays me twice a year in fantasy. It was a close match. We both got some meat. He was on the higher end of scoring. I think I would have beat 3 other people, but I needed that. Now I need to run the table and have shit fall in my favor. I don't love it. But Dan and Anthony, Josh says he thought you guys were going to lose. Dan, I thought you had yours in the bag.
Yeah.
Anthony had Mixon for him. Ride it out. I think we were wrong about Anthony. He's in the mix. He's not.
He's in the mix. Definitely in the mix.
And you got Burrow and Chase still, putting up numbers for you.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, it was big.
Has the playoff picture changed much? It might not. We're going to talk about it. We talked about who's in, who's out. Now we're talking playoff picture. We're talking seeds, matchups.
Yeah,
because of the
and I would
playoff
say
format.
there's a couple big games last week that fed into the seeding too. Like me and Timmy going against each other was that catapulted me from fourth to second. Ruben getting a big loss like week really shook up the standings too, Houston.
Yeah,
And just to round out the week 11 recap, we didn't mention Josh getting a dub against Max as well because that's
lone first place at 8-3
yeah
now. Yeah,
lone first place and lone last place actually coming from that game.
yeah. And we talked about last week. Max beats him. That first place is cloudy. Now, I mean, Josh is more or less right. He goes one in. How many weeks we got left, Josh?
3
Three.
weeks.
3 weeks regular season. You go 1-2. I bet you still get that 2 seed by at least, right?
Yeah,
I might
Yeah,
have
he
the
probably-
easiest strength of schedule. I think I play Eric. I just played Max, right?
What you say, boy?
You
So
did just play
I
Max,
play
yeah.
I play Murphy, Nick.
What you say, boy?
Oh, I'm sorry, Murphy, Nick, and Kevin.
All right, you don't play
Yeah,
me.
that's pretty nice.
That's pretty schedule, yeah.
Although, yeah, that's pretty nice. Although all
Uh,
those teams are desperate for a win, except for Forbes, really. Although he still needs to get some dubs.
so like playoff picture right now, Dan. We
Yeah.
got Josh with the 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
Man, this podcast always has 2 or 3 in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Good for
We
us.
represent. We represent.
I'm representing sort of kind of indirectly by association. Dan, 2 seed. Congrats.
Yes, sir.
We got Ruben fell to 3. That's why that loss really hurt, right? I think it would have come down to points for the 2 seed there. Well, actually, no, he would have got
Yeah.
8. He would have been ahead of you via record. So you got 3
Yeah.
Ruben, 4
Yeah,
seed.
the big thing about Houston,
No.
but the big thing about Ruben's loss was he had the lowest point total of the week. So now I passed him in the tiebreaker.
Tiebreakers. That's
Yeah.
huge for you. That's
Yeah,
huge
yeah,
for
it's
you.
big. It's big.
So we got 3 seed Ruben playing 6 seed Forbes. Gosh, I wish I fucking won. That pisses me off. You got 4 seed Anthony playing 5 seed Timmy, and 5 and 6 seeds Timmy and Forbes are both 6 and 5. Looking at the standings, and then we got Jeff and Murph at 5 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
Houston, Kevin, and Eric both at 4 and 7.
And then Max at 3 and 8.
Yeah.
Dude, don't look now, Houston. But Murphy is on a bit of a charge, dude.
Four-
I think
four
what's his
games.
win streak?
4
Four-game
games.
win streak. 4-game win streak. Our preseason champion pick is making a late
So
run here, dude.
He was 1 and 6,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he's above me because I'm on a
Yeah.
3-game skidster.
Yeah, Murphy could make a move, dude. I'm telling you, I've always liked this team too. He made that
And-
big ass trade, which we'll get into in a second, but
Yeah.
dude, that's pretty wild. Good for you, Murphy, making a late charge, buddy.
3 weeks left. The top 6 teams have 60 set lowest is 67%. It is an ascending order of playoff chances where before it was kind of here and there and everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, after that, it's Jeff at 43%. So
Mm-hmm.
the losers here.
It's amazing. It's amazing
mean-
how. Sorry, it's amazing how. Look at Jeff and Murph, both at 5 and 6, and Jeff's got a 43% chance, and Murph's got an 18% chance. That's a big difference, man.
Big.
That must
I
be
wonder why that
tiebreaker
is.
related. Let's see.
I mean, points got to be it's
Yeah.
0.4.
Yeah, it's tiebreaker related for sure. Because Jeff actually has the 4th best points for in the league.
Which shows, Dan, if you look at my points for a decent amount higher, 100 points higher than Murph,
Mm-hmm.
higher than 4. If I won that game against Forbes, my chances, I think I'm in the 40s too. Fuck me.
40s or 30s maybe. Yeah, but yeah, you'd be up there. Yeah,
you can't
you'd be
talk
up
about
there.
that anymore. We're not talking about that. We're talking about fuel for the future.
That's right.
Oof. But let's get in. Should we get into this trade?
Yeah. Why don't you break it down, Houston?
I'll break it down. I'll start with my sorrow. Talk about I didn't want to do the podcast, and if I could just be blackout drunk on it, and not even comment, and just whatever. And then I got a text. You got a text from the Brendan Murphy. And I went back all the way to youth football that we used to play together. I met Murph when I was in 5th grade, playing youth football at Forsyth Middle School. And his mom would come and pick him up, and that was when I discovered my heterosexuality.
I'm not surprised.
But anyways, Murph said, offer me a couple trades, and he texted me, and he's like, I need to beat Josh this weekend. And I said, well, Josh says I gotta have integrity, so I can't trade you guys just for you to win. Let's make this even. But we did make it even. It started with like he's gonna offer me Bijan, Higgins, Fryermuth for like Kelsey Dobbins. I'm like, okay, it's sort of fair. But your guys are on buys, and I need to win more badly than you, buddy. And so then it evolved. You got to give me players to compensate for the buy, and I got to give you players to compensate for my buys because we both have guys on buys. He needed running backs. I need receivers. I have a lot of running backs. He has a lot of receivers. We just loaded up, guys. And kitchen sink might be the largest trade in La Liga history. So
I think it definitely is.
you want to detail the trade, Dan? I don't.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a 4-for-5 trade, boys. We have Murphy giving up T. Higgins, Isaiah Likely, Tua, Jackson Smith and Jigba, and Bijan. For Houston giving up Darnell Mooney, Jaden Daniels, J.K. Dobbins, and Travis Kelce. So that's fucking as blockbuster as it gets, honestly. It's a fucking huge trade, Houston. And I think it's like it's almost such a big trade that's hard for me to even to like figure out who I think won and lost the trade because there's
sure.
just so much going on there. And yeah, I need to get like I'll look at who's on the buys and who's not because I can't even see it with what I'm looking at right now. But it's a monster trade, dude.
A lot of guys on a lot of buys for sure, and some injuries with Mooney. Yeah.
Did that trade process already? Or is it still pending?
My guys here. I just had to move Bijan out of my running back spot because he's got the buy. I mean, I'm in a tough spot this week. I'm in a. I still don't have great receivers this week. Right now, here's my receivers: Jackson Smith, Njigba, Keenan Allen, and Demario Douglas.
Yeah, it's not great.
But when they, I got Godwin on IR, Higgins on a bye week. If they come back, feel really good about it. But as well as putting Bijan in the flex spot, and just two receivers. So, but I got to survive this week, and I'm not worried about it. It's Kevin.
Yeah, if you had this team from the beginning of the year, I would be like, dude, you're looking
For sure.
fucking strong. But
you know what? Yeah,
yeah,
we're not there.
Just so you know, Murphy's percentage, his win probability after that trade just processed 30 minutes ago.
You have a before and after?
Yeah, it went down.
Josh knows his things. Josh keeps records in his notebooks at home.
What about mine?
I didn't keep an eye on yours because I'm not playing you.
So Murphy's went down,
okay.
Josh, is what you're saying?
I don't want people keeping an eye on me.
I'm not surprised, dude. I'm not surprised.
He also, he has a guy in that's on a, wait, does he have a guy in that's on a buy? No, he does not.
Yeah, but you're going to look strong. You have Kyron, Aaron Jones, and Bijan. That's going to be a solid top 3 running back. I mean, very, very solid top 3 running backs.
Need to beat Kevin this week. And honestly, though,
yeah.
Kevin he's 103 to my 92. I like Kevin's team. I've always said it. I like Kevin's team. I think I had him to maybe even win beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Any of these guys can go off. Any of these guys can. Warren in his running back spot. Are you fucking with me, Kevin? He's fucking with me, right? Oh, that's his running back. Wow, Jalen Warren, his second running back. He should have traded me for long. I got to trade in for him. He could have given me one of his receivers for that. CeeDee Lamb. Hopefully, if CeeDee Lamb sits out too. Oh.
Yeah, so all these trades towards the end of the year kind of bring up the question, Houston, of like, there's a lot of talk about your guys' trade and like was that collusion, was it not? I think it's pretty clear it wasn't. Sure. Right, but this is always the time of year, Houston, we get into fucking some crazy shit going on, Forbes dropping his whole team, or you talking about doing the same thing, people just abandoning ship. So we've been talking a little bit about maybe want to bump up the trade deadline. We'll see what happens this year. I think we let it ride though, Houston. I would got to keep it going until it gets abused, I guess. I don't think it will either.
We have to be fantasy men of character.
We do.
And we have to respect the game. We've talked. I mean, we appreciate, right? We talked about going through you got to pass 2 or 3 robo trade tests. You got to fucking IBM Watson. Fuck that. We've talked about third party appraisers, right? Pulling in like the rest. I don't know if you can pull in the rest of the league to vote, but if someone agreed upon like a third party, gosh, I don't fucking know. Who's a dude that's not in here that it could be?
Knows football.
Yeah, somebody.
Yeah, we should find somebody. But
Tom Vandergriff, right? Like,
there
like,
we
you know,
go.
like
There we
to
go.
judge. Imagine that.
Dude.
If there's a trade, he comes in.
Oh
Wow.
my God. We gotta get Tom on
Holy
the
shit.
show, I think is what we really gotta do.
That would be amazing.
That would be so good. Oh my
I can't believe I never thought of that.
God. Dude,
That's a great idea. It's a great idea.
Guy calls me every week.
I just
dude,
got some text. I just got some text from him now. Like
get them lined
12.
up, boys. Get 'em
Yeah.
lined up.
But no, it is tough. At the end of the year, you have buys. Are they doing this to screw Josh over? We talked about my hatred of Josh winning. So like completely feasible for someone to assume Houston's out of it. He's giving Murph players so he can fucking destroy Josh. I so did that. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna fucking win it all.
Yeah, but I think that's the key. We don't want people like making trades to fuck over somebody else. As long as you're acting in the best interest of your team, or at least you think you are, because let's face it, every time a trade's made, somebody's not acting in the best interest of their team.
Well, and
Right.
I'll give our commissioner credit, which I don't like to do, which people also know this. I think he has fairly judged and pushed through trades that were all legit.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's
I think-
recalling, Dan. Wasn't there one that was like complete
last year?
bullshit? Yes. what
Last
was
year.
it?
I think that was like Timmy and Eric's. They vetoed the
Yeah.
trade, like Travis Kelce and David Njoku, and maybe there's somebody else involved in that. And it cost Timmy. I think it like cost Timmy the ship or something. I think.
Kevin
Or it gave
vetoed it.
Yeah, Kevin. I don't know. I
Why
thought he
did he
vetoed it. Josh would.
Why
Josh
did
would.
he
Yeah,
veto this?
It wasn't vetoed.
it wasn't.
It was brought to the league because
Okay.
Timmy wanted to
We thought
trade.
about vetoing.
Timmy had Njoku and somebody else, and he wanted to trade for Travis Kelce.
Mm-hmm.
And the league erupted. It was late. I mean, we're talking about this exact time frame.
It was about this time. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was all because Eric had
Had
no
to buy
waiver
and
wire money,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he couldn't pick up a defense. So it was for Njoku and a defense.
Yeah.
And everybody went
For
nuts
Kelce. Yeah.
for Kelce. Everybody said that is so unfair. Travis Kelce is so much better. Kevin ended up allowing the trade, and Eric won because of Njoku.
Yeah. It was the craziest thing ever.
Eric won because of Njoku. That's right. He ended up winning it all.
Yeah.
He ended up
So he
winning it all.
didn't veto it.
I don't
There was
believe he
back and forth, but he accepted it.
that or
I think you're right. I don't think he did veto it because I remember it's why Eric won.
Here's what happened. The defense for Njoku was not enough of a trade. There wasn't enough value coming from Eric. So
Yeah. And
Timmy ended up adding like
though.
Addison
Yeah.
or Naylor or somebody from I believe the Vikings.
Yeah.
And he did get Travis Kelce, and then Eric won because Njoku went off in the playoffs. And I think it really showed Kevin that to veto a trade at that point in time with what you're seeing in fantasy football, you shouldn't, because anything could happen. And once Joe Flacco came in to start, Njoku went off.
And that's why you can't say a trade runs even because you don't fucking know. You don't know.
Mhm.
Nobody knows. And as long as there's no malintent, then I don't see any problem with any trade ever, honestly.
And so, but I think Kevin has done a good job of putting context into the trade, because in that context, if you put that through any robo whatever test, a trade analyzer, it's going to say that's stupid, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you put in context, Eric did not have a fucking defense. He wants those 9 to 11 points you can get, and then he needed a win. I think, right? He was a low seed, so he's going to give up Kelce to survive week to week, just like Murph and I are giving up bye week guys to survive this week. And
just to throw a little caveat into the
money,
story, Eric didn't make the playoffs, and then there was a recount because of a fumble by Jared Goff, and he ended up making the playoffs over Jeff Sebastian.
Yeah.
And then he won it.
That's wild.
It
That's
was-
not trade impact, but that's like a stop the count impact.
It was wild.
That is like, yeah.
And was
That's
that even
crazy.
Kevin that did that, or is that just like the system?
No, that was just ESPN. I think didn't register it and then realized their mistake. It was crazy. All right, I think that's enough of the trade talk. Yeah. Well, Houston, I'll say I think you won the trade. I think you won the trade. We always say who we think won. I think you won the trade.
If we both win this week, I think we could stay on the trade.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because I don't have Kelsey this week, who's not on a bye.
Yeah.
I don't have Dobbins this week, who is not on a bye.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can get through next week, I will have Higgins and Bijan and Jackson Smith.
JSN.
You know how to pronounce it?
JSN.
Jackson.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You do need to, because Murphy can actually afford to lose and still have a chance. You cannot afford to lose and still have a chance. So you need to, you really need to squeak this one out this week. But if you do, I mean, I think your team
played the long game. Had to. Anyway, matchups of the week. So
yes.
I mean, I'm gonna say, I'm not only been staring at my matchup.
I haven't looked at any of them yet either. Wow, Anthony and Ruben. I'm gonna go. How's it going? I'll go first. I'll go Anthony and Ruben. 2 7-4 teams, 3rd and 4th place in the league. This is a big time matchup right now. We got Anthony projected at 107 and Ruben at 116. So Ruben's got the early lead there, Hughes. But let me see what we got going on here in the box score. Oh, let's see. We see Anthony's got a few buys. He's got Brian Thomas gone.
Both quarterbacks questionable.
Both
Purdy
quarterbacks.
versus Anthony's Hurts, who's been killing it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good matchup here, though. I think Anthony's team, we've been hating on all year, Hughes, and we were talking pre-show. We're just wrong. We're just wrong about Anthony, even though it doesn't feel like we're wrong about it. But his team keeps coming back and dropping points. He had the most points last week, so his team's clearly on a tear right now. He could easily pull out this win, even though the projections aren't in his favor. And Ruben needs a big bounce back week, Hughes, because Ruben had lowest score last week, and he loses again this week. All of a sudden, he goes from 2nd place down to 5th, 6th place, and he's on the playoff bubble. So, yeah, both of these teams, big game here,
Ruben
basically for a locked up playoff spot.
1st place for a few weeks.
Yeah,
I'll pick a different one, but like,
wait, who did you pick, Dan?
I'll pick Ruben with the bounce back W in this game.
I'm gonna pick
even though
Anthony.
I shouldn't doubt Anthony.
I got Anthony.
Shouldn't doubt Anthony.
I like his team. I like his matchups. Derrick Henry against a tough Chargers defense for Ruben.
Taylor against Detroit.
Metcalf been quiet. Arizona can control the ball. Pickens, boomer bust. Kittle, questionable. Hubbard, tough Kansas City defense. Where you got Anthony's Hawkinson. They got Minnesota's need to get a W. They're playing Chicago. Tillman could be tough. That could bust for him. But I'm on picking it up. Rashad White picking it up. Mixon against Titans. I like Anthony too. For my matchup of the week,
Anthony's starting 2 tight ends, Houston. Sorry, I don't want to do it. He's got 2 tight ends in his starting lineup.
Yeah, but dude, with Godwin and Evans out, if you look at his catches in the last 3 weeks,
he's been tearing it up for
ridiculous.
sure.
So,
by the way, Evans is not out this week.
Evans is in?
This is why we have him.
And I got him.
The amount of football knowledge you have, Josh, compared to 10 years ago is absolutely insane.
Stop. He doesn't have football knowledge. He doesn't know what -110 is.
NFL knowledge.
No, fantasy knowledge. He literally stares at the fucking app all day looking for player opportunities to screw over the little guy.
Proud of you, Josh. You're doing good, buddy.
Damn straight.
All right, Houston matchup.
You're staring at the thing all day. Whatever you're doing, it's working. My matchup, I want to say me and Kevin because 2 4-7 teams, right? Like, loser, you're not winning if you go 4-8 and 1 out 6-8. You're not making playoffs. You might have a chance for ESPN. You're not making the playoffs.
No.
So you could say that, but I'm not going to. But yeah, honorable mention for Houston, Kevin. I'm gonna go with Jeff and Timmy. 5-6, 6-5, both on a 1-game losing streak. Timmy is, I believe, what I say, the 6th seed. I mean, Forbes is 6th seed. Timmy is 5. Forbes gets a W against Eric, which, Probably will. Eric's projected 60 fucking points. Give me my
Yeah,
fucking money, Eric. He's projected 64 fucking points. So like, let's assume Forbes gets a win there. This is if Jeff gets a win, he's gonna knock. I mean, Timmy, you're on the bubble, buddy. And right after Josh losing, Timmy losing gives me the next most joy. I'm almost forgetting about Kevin.
yeah. Kevin's my number one. I'll tell you that much right now.
Man, we could go through that in another episode of my
That could be
you win versus the people that
that could be its own episode right there.
Timmy's favored 13 points. Which is a pretty good margin. But like
Jeff's got some tough buys.
Timmy's got one big buy, that being Josh Allen. But Jeff's got Brees Hall, Devontae Adams, Drake London.
Yeah, those are three core players right there.
Those are real big, yeah.
Yeah.
So Timmy's got Jameis Winston, quarterback, playing Pittsburgh. Timmy, I'm just gonna tell you this. This is
I don't like
free
that.
advice. You can pick up any other quarterback playing any other team, and they're gonna get more points than Jameis. But free advice. Running backs, I like Timmy's. Well, they both got decent running backs. Eckler's, who knows if he's going to get the touches with Bijan, but I love Timmy's RBs. Achan and Stevenson. A.J. Brown, Jefferson. Gosh, he has good receivers.
Yeah.
I like, assuming Timmy gets a different quarterback, I like Timmy's team. I think this is going to be the match. I think this is the matchup, though. Players-wise and importance in the league, I think this is the matchup.
It's a good one. It's a really good call out there, Houston. I think. Gosh, looking at it, I gotta go with Timmy too because Jeff's just got a rough bye week this week, and it's bad timing for him because if he drops to 5-7, he is sitting in a pretty tough spot at that point. But yeah, man, it's just tough.
I like how Jeff filled 3 starters though. His starting lineup looks legit. You look at Josh Downs versus the Detroit Lions. Assume the Detroit Lions put up 40 points again, right? Feasible. They're going to be throwing the ball, and Josh Downs is going to get, 100 yards, 6 catches. And Addison, he had one good game, but he has otherwise been quiet this year. Yeah, I like Timmy. I was trying to convince myself for Jeff because I think I want Jeff to win. I like it when Jeff wins. I like when Max wins and Murphy wins because they never win. I like when Ruben wins.
Yeah.
You see my haters. And I think, you know what? I think I'm shifting to enjoying seeing Anthony win.
Nice.
I don't think I did before because he wasn't as participatory, but he came onto the podcast, was a real great guest, real genuine. Farmers, right? It's good. I think I'm shifting towards enjoying seeing Anthony win. If he won this year, I would be thrilled.
Yeah, I like how he just keeps proving us wrong, Houston. Every time we doubt him, he just rattles off another W. So
yeah,
I like that. Josh, you got a matchup of the week?
I think there were 3. You guys took 2 of them. Houston highlighted the third. I think there's huge implications to Houston and Kevin. However, I'm very intrigued because I think that Eric has a good team if he would set his lineup. And I think if he does, I think there's some implications if Forbes loses to who could possibly get in. But I think overall, Houston and Kevin is what I'm pretty excited about. I'm planning on taking advantage of each of them with trades and see what I can steal from them.
Josh, we're running out of time here. And while I joke, I've talked to Eric. I've known him a very long time. Very sympathetic to the situation. This is for comedic purposes. He has so many players on bias. Josh, you actually text him to like, hey buddy, get a player, fill your roster because like right now he cannot actually fill his starting lineup and replace the buys for his quarterback, for example. Aaron Rodgers buy, Dak Prescott IR. He literally cannot put a quarterback in starter position.
He dropped Thielen, so I'm sure he's picking up a quarterback, and at that point he can move pieces around to fill a roster. He's got Dalvin Cook.
He's projected 0 points.
I know.
Dalvin Cook don't even play, dude. He's
pick up anybody else in the league.
Seriously, it's crazy. Dude, one other game I want to give a shout out here too, because we haven't mentioned it yet, and I think it's a big game, is Murph and Josh.
No, I don't think it's a big game.
No, dude, I think it's a big game. Murph can make a huge statement win with that
It's a
game.
big game for Murph, but Josh is going to be at 1 or 2 seed. Murph's still alive barely, but stuff would have to happen. He controls his own destiny. He goes 3-0. He's 8-6.
Yeah,
He'll make playoffs.
yeah.
Playoffs.
Yeah, it's a big game, dude. It's a big game. I think I actually would love. I hate to say it, Josh, but I would love to see Murphy pull out a win there because I'm a sucker for a nice little comeback. And for him to go from 1-6 to 6-6, that would be pretty dope.
So Dan, it's not a big game. There's not huge implications of the league, but it's continuation of a comeback story
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you win, which I agree
yeah,
with. It would be cool to see.
yeah.
Especially after that trade, I could see the story. I mean, I texted Max and said, since he's on a bye, you got Dan this week, buddy. You can do it.
If Kelsey fucking goes off, I'll lose it. I'll lose it. I'll lose it. When does Rasheed Rice come back, Josh? You know all this stuff.
I don't know if he does.
He won't.
Yeah, he was broke.
No, he's broke, dude.
Oh yeah, he done.
All right.
All right, let's wrap it up here, boys. I think we've gone long enough. I'm gonna start us off with an F here.
T?
F.
See you later, boys.
See you next week, boys.
Can all agree